Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so made a video last and realized I only had 24 minutes to talk after I had started, so I had a lot more I wanted to express, but I think I cut it short since I realized how much time I had. So yeah, man, I've been feeling it today. It's 9/11 and I just see that same play being run again and I'm frustrated about it. They run the same play twice. And they fooled us the first time, but just like the guy who was in presidency during the process, George W. said, fool me once, shame on us. Fool me twice, shame on... However he fumbled that. What his intention was, I'm not going to be fooled twice by the same person, with the same play. And that's exactly what that was. October 7th and 9/11 are the same damn play. It's essentially what my last video was about. It's the same play, fam. I don't need you to... I have no need for anybody to investigate either one of those occurrences to know that it's the same play. Because as I told you guys in several different instances in regards to several different conversations, I don't necessarily need to see what you're doing. I just need to see what it is you're trying to do and what's happening around what it is that was done. That's it. Trying to rile people up for sympathy for something you're trying to do. So you cut yourself, you sacrifice your own in the process, find ways to rally others who are watching the situation around your cause. Look what they did to us. No, look what you did to us. And furthermore, doing to us and what you're trying to do to them. It's the same play. So that we find out it's the same play run by the same people shouldn't be surprising because it has the same functionality. To rile people up for the support of cutting more people down, otherwise you wouldn't have support for cutting down. There's no reason to support that Iraqi war if not for 9/11. There's no reason for these people to be supporting the annihilation of the West Bank and all of Rafah if not for 10/7. It's the same play. So I don't need to go into the intricacies of what happened in those occurrences to know it's the same play being run. It's the same play being run because it has the same functionality. It does the same thing. And for those of us who are fooled by these plays, shame on us. Shame on us for not seeing it. Fool you once. Fool you twice? How many times you gonna get fooled? Or are you just willing participant in the bullshit? Which a lot of people actually are. Willing participant. You're fine with it because you don't care about anybody that doesn't look white. You don't care about anybody that doesn't have money. You don't care about anybody that otherwise you think you should not care about for whatever damn reason. So you don't. That's cool. If that's what the hill you want to die on, be yourself. We're on the opposite end of this thing. I don't roll like that. But if that's what it is, at least I don't peg you to be a damn fool. But the rest of y'all who are falling for this, you're a damn fool. You don't see how this is the same damn play? You don't see how this is the same damn entity that's running that play? Stop being stupid. It's the same damn play. 9/11, 10/7, same thing. It's no different. It has the same function. It's meant to do the same thing. It's meant to get people to support something they have no business supporting, ironically enough, against the same type of people. They, for whatever reason, or several reasons, many reasons that come together to make it so that it's done, want the Middle East. The colonizers want the Middle East. They want it for oil. They want it for access, tunnels, and all different types of plans that they have. They probably want it for other reasons as well. They want the Middle freaking East. And how do you get the people who are paying into their bullshit to support it? By plucking at the heartstrings of those people and plucking at the ego strings of those people. They did it to you. They did it to you. They did it to you. Support us in killing them because they did it to you. You're the most important thing in the world. Not our intentions, you. And we're doing this for you. Jewish friend, we're doing this for you. America, we're doing this for you. It's a bunch of hogwash that you know and I know. If you got two brain cells put together is bullcrap. You know it's bullcrap. Now, if you want to support it because you're an evil person or you just racist or whatever the word will be, like I said, that's a hill to die on, man. That's yours. Stand on it, live on it, die on it, friend. I can't change your mind, don't want to. But for those of us who are fooled by the same play being run twice, those are the people I'm talking to. Those of us who have decent hearts but not really picking up on the nonsense, yeah, those are the ones who need to wake the hell up. And I'm telling you, I did not even attempt to watch that crap show last night that y'all call a debate. That was absolute and utter nonsense. Completely and utterly compromised. Fascist bullcrap. Both sides fighting for an opportunity to kiss Israel's ass as they're killing a bunch of children for reasons that are not just at all, despite them having the narrative that they continue to stand on of 10/7, equivalent to 9/11. Same shit, friends. Same play being won twice. It's the same play. They need your support to continue to kill the brown folks. So we'll cut down some of our own, blame the brown folks, and you're gonna support us. It's the same play. Come on, let's not act too stupid here. Let's not act like we're so far into our propaganda and our capitalism and our entertainment and whatever our interests are that we can't see the same plays being run. It's the same play, friend. Now, if you support it, and this is me speaking in circles, if you support it, that's your business. But don't be fooled, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Please don't be fooled by that. And look, man, it doesn't matter which side you pick. Blue, red, it don't matter. It's the same political environment, same lobby groups buying both sides. They win either way as long as you continue to buy the bullshit. That's the point. It ain't about who you vote for. It's about the narrative and whether or not you're buying it. And there's plenty of footage all over the net that would debunk all of the lies, about all the propaganda, about all the stuff. But they need enough people to be in the dark about that footage being legitimate. And they need enough people to still buy that they should trust these people throughout all things. And the rest of us who know the truth, who are trying to ultimately expose the truth, look crazy. Because the majority of the people are standing firm in the idea that those who are doing this are righteous and just and should be trusted. Kamala Harris knows nobody was raped on the Israeli side. She knows that. Kamala Harris is fully aware that it's her regime that's sending bombs over to Israel to kill innocent people. She's aware of this. She's being paid by the people who are doing it. Various lobby groups that have come together to make her a very wealthy woman and a very powerful woman. Donald Trump understands the same thing. He doesn't care. Same reason. He's getting paid. He probably has a few things wrapped up in that. They probably agreed to give him a portion of the land, to build a couple Trump towers, probably secured the fact that his children will be able to live on the land for thousands of years in the future. These people have their own interests wrapped up in Israel being successful and wiping Palestinians out and ultimately rebuilding the West Bank and beyond. This is what it is. So they're not going to tell you the truth about it because they don't see any value in the Palestinian life, nor do they have the Palestinians the power to ultimately guarantee them the same guarantees that the Zionists have. We know this. We know this. This is not something we have to speculate about. The proof is all in the footage that we've been seeing. Proof is in the footage of the actions. The proof is in the footage of the propaganda machine working so well on the individuals who are over there from which they're protecting. We're seeing the government officials, footage of them delegating back and forth about whether or not certain things should be allowed, for which we know is bankrupt morally. The footage is everywhere. The footage debunks every bit of the narrative that Kamala so eloquently regurgitated to us yesterday about the rapes and the 1,200 people dying and how much more important those 1,200 people are than the 40,000, for which we know is not a real number, Palestinian people who happen to die as they were targeting maybe 500 Hamas members that they claim they can't seem to catch, while they're at the same time videotaping themselves going after spots that they know and we know there would be no Hamas members otherwise at. Hamas is code word for Palestinian. Terrorist is code word for Palestinian and those who would otherwise support the Palestinians' perseverance. That is what that is, code words, friend. Just like thug is code word for nigger. Yes, that is what that is. It's the same people run the same plays. That's why it's so offensive to me, because I used to be the Palestinian. Two different fronts, Native American and black. That's the new, they the new nigger. Palestinians the new nigger. If you haven't figured it out, they run in the same plays on the people that ran on us. Same plays. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because it's offensive and triggering. Because we've seen the gaslighting pointed at us. We've seen the belittling and the silencing of our voices if we're crying out. They pointed that at us first. This ain't new. We've seen all of it. We've seen all of it. And you shouldn't be confused by the people who look like me who are supporting it, because there's always a house in ready to lick the boot of white supremacy in hopes of an extra day off of work or something. There's a chance at the big house. That part of our programming is evident, that many people of our skin color and of the skin color of the persecuted will always support the oppressor. It's just the wiring of the plays that they've run psychologically on the oppressed over time. Those people are victims. Yes, victims. Coerced into having syndromes that would otherwise allow for them to support that for which is their oppression. Yes, they're victims of deep psychological warping. That is what that is. It didn't work on me. Simply put, it didn't work. But it worked on some of them, though. A lot of them, though. And that's why you see so many black people not caring nothing about this situation. I can't help them. I can't help them. They can't help themselves. They're just going to be pawns in the white supremacy game. That's it. That's all. That's what it's going to be. Ain't no helping those people. You just got to pray for them. And most importantly, get them the hell out the way when you're trying to stand up for what's right. Move them aside. Now, one thing I will not do on 9/11 is be fearful. Now, I will not do that. One thing I will not do on 9/11 is regurgitate the same nonsense that's been pointed in various different directions of people who believe in the bullshit. There was never a justification for slaughtering 1 million people. Iraqi freedom bullshit. I will not forget how they left Iraq with innocent people flying off of planes, desperate to ask those people to stay because they knew they were taking a lot of infrastructure that had been planted over time. And that dystopian syndrome that we're talking about, where you love your oppressor, yeah, they had done that to those people too. They didn't want America to leave. No, don't go. People flying off of the planes as they take off, not giving a damn about their lives at all. Yeah, Biden, not everybody forgot about that. Not everybody forgot about that at all. How y'all just abruptly left those people after rocking them to sleep with your American culture, and after wiping them out and doing half of what y'all did to the Indians, to those people. Native Americans, excuse me. Indian should be considered a derogatory term when talking about the Native Americans, so forgive me for using it. But that they did to those people, they only worked the game halfway and they pulled out of there rather quickly. Fast forward to where we are right now. That was the first hint of what was wrong with this regime specifically, but even more so the imperialist machine that is our country, US of A. Can't spell USA without us, because it's always about us, right? They're always the center of attention in regards to whatever they're doing, even though when it's time for us to stick up for what it is that we actually believe in, they ignore us and gaslight us and all different types of stuff. Nonsense. Nonsense that I'm not afraid to speak against. I will never be afraid to speak against. I'm just asking those of us who believe and are buying the bull crap to get an Instagram account, get a Telegram account, and start looking up what is there to see. And after staring at what it is that we've seen for the last 300 days, when you give it an hour or two, after seeing all of the footage of all the dead babies and all the mothers crying and fathers screaming, carrying their children out, and even the more gory stuff that's even come out, it's even worse than that. Tell me you still feel like it's justified that we continue to be silent as this continues to happen when you see the footage. Because a lot of y'all running from the footage. A lot of y'all don't want to believe it. You just want to listen to the narrative. It makes you feel safe. The people you've trusted your entire life has told you that 12,000 people died and therefore 40,000 need to die. You believe that. But you need to be woken up from that, because that is bullshit. It's not true. It's unjust. And what you'll find is that you've been coerced into that line of thinking. It's not natural that you think that way. You wouldn't otherwise think that way. Animals don't think that way when considering compassion. They don't move like that. Anybody who ever grew up with with two pets in the house know damn well what compassion is versus what it is America and the Zionist community engaging in. As I've told you many times on this channel, though I haven't said it as of late, animals taught me what compassion was. Human beings didn't teach me compassion, although I had a very compassionate mother. I learned the most compassion from watching animals. And a lot of you are animal lovers. You know what compassion is and it is not. If you're not engaging in that compassion, you got to understand that a lot of what it is that you are engaging in was inserted in your brain. Because what comes naturally to you is the same thing that would come naturally to those animals. You don't discriminate, not without help, not without the coercion of your brain and that of the brains around you to agree that the people should otherwise be done that way. They keep on throwing these talking points in your head, keep throwing these different racist things at you, and the overall celebration of these racist things at you. Of course you're going to learn to discriminate. You were taught how. Your uncles were taught how. Your grandparents were taught how. That doesn't come naturally to the animals, and it wouldn't have came naturally to you without the agreement to do so. You're a victim, just like the house ends. Thinking for someone else in the betterment of someone else, never to actually rise to the top of what it is you aspire to, because it's not meant for you to. Never actually getting what it is you deserve, because the very essence of what it is you engage in assures you do not. Never actually reaching the power that ultimately is due to you, because of course what it is that you engage in is to assure that you do not. The strength necessary to be able to let certain things not take place, to speak against certain power that is not being checked and should be, for the betterment of the compassion that we ultimately see our animals engage in. And we can't seem to follow that. We can't seem to follow that because we're too busy wrapped up in following man, who continues to bump his head every three hours if you look around enough. People can't keep themselves out of trouble, can't keep themselves from getting in different situations, and you want to follow man everywhere. Impressionable from man in every which way, as it continues to reflect poorly upon itself each and every day. The most powerful of us are waging war against the most innocent of us. And they say that they would do something as if they believe in a God that they ultimately don't adhere to in any way. Say this is a religious driven thing when the imprint of what it is they follow was written by someone who didn't believe in God at all. There's sheer hypocrisy right there. It shows you right that something is awry in the actions and the thinking of those who engage in this nonsense and those who are buying the bullcrap. Do we change? No. Impressionable, but not by those who are ultimately teaching us how to really survive and how to really thrive and how to really create an environment around us that is otherwise safe for us. A safer environment comes from having a great reputation and many good friends that believe and trust you. That's why you make yourself safe. By making it so that as few people hate you as possible, not the other way around. So if I'm going around pushing everybody away for their differences, stealing stuff from people, giving people the finger for their differences, and ultimately saying that I'm better than everybody, exactly how safe am I going to be when everybody hates me? How safe am I? As opposed to doing good deeds, being tolerant of individuals, making sure that every bit of your math is fair, making sure that you divvy out your portion and be as unselfish as possible, and ultimately being as merciful as possible with all of the power that you ultimately hold. That's how you're going to be safe. By creating a reputation that would make it so that it would be abnormal to attack you. So if you're gauging in the opposite, how is it making it so that you are safer? If your intention is to rob people and take from people and then belittle them further and gaslight them further, how are you safer for it? Compassion isn't just an unselfish thing, it's an environment molder. It molds the environment to be safer for the compassionate. There's always going to be a crazy or a wild animal that's going to ultimately try to attack you, but you're not going to have sound-minded individuals looking for your downfall, if not for you inspiring it, for what it is you engage in. I don't gangbang, I don't do none of those things. Glory be to God, I wasn't raised in those terms. So I don't have to look over my shoulder every 5 minutes for some enemy that's could otherwise come in my way. Could there be somebody coming my way? Sure. But the likelihood that I'm going to have so much of it decreases based on the imprint that I left behind me as I continue to live my life free of that energy. It's only when I start piling up the enemies, when I start to understand that I'm no longer as safe, I got to look over my shoulder and look in all of these different directions and make sure whatever is coming from me isn't coming. It's the energy you put out that ultimately creates the environment from which you're going to be most safe or not. I'm safe wherever I go because I've been kind and been respectful and been fair in every place I've ever been. If I had a problem, I talked it out like a man. I didn't mess with nobody woman. I wasn't trying to do no weird stuff that would ultimately make people look at me and say that person is not a good person. I feel more comfortable when I walk in the environment. Doesn't mean I can't get cut down by a stranger. Doesn't mean that somebody may not appreciate that for which makes me safe and want to ultimately create an environment around me that ain't safe. But the likelihood of that is so much less. So much less. So if you're in an environment where it has been made okay to create so many enemies for the sake of what they otherwise say is your self-preservation, you need to understand what I just described to you shows you that that for which you're engaging in does the opposite. The absolute opposite of what it is that ultimately you were told it does. Stealing their land and then maiming them for wanting to defend themselves from having their land stolen does not make you safer. It creates enemies. Enemies that you have to look over your shoulder for at all times. The more egregious the behavior, the more fierce and ferocious and plentiful the enemies come. If you're killing children unapologetically and laughing about it, you're going to have an entire world of people who want you dead, regardless if you have a narrative that you want people to believe that you continue to spew over and over again that has holes in it, left and damn right. Or not. If you're engaging in the behavior that is aggressive in a sense that destroys innocence, regardless if you can define it properly or not, you're going to have a bunch of people who do define innocence properly, seeing you cut down those innocent entities, and ultimately want to see you off the earth to protect those entities. That is a fact, Israel. That is a fact, Zionists. So if you have something in your book telling you that you're better than everybody else, that you have a right to take land that's been occupied for 2,000 years, and ultimately if anybody tries to stop you from doing it, you get to kill their children, you're going to have a world full of people who want you dead. You are not safer for that. That doesn't have that type of effect on the world. That is a self-destructive energy pointed at your destruction and hoping that you would weaponize yourself against the innocent. It doesn't work the way you think it does. That's not a thing, as they like to say. It doesn't help you to do that. You don't get to keep the land. Now everybody who ever visits the land, you have to be wondering if they're a covert entity looking to take it back from you. That's why you need the biggest army. That's why you need America's army if you're Israel. Because you didn't create so many enemies that you don't know where the hell they would be coming from at this point. You didn't create so many damn enemies, you don't even know if they're coming in multiple directions at the same time. Or in waves. You gotta put your back against the wall, hold your guns out, and pray to God that nobody's coming for you. That's what you end up doing. So how are you going to thrive in a land that is surrounded by people who potentially be resentful of what it is that you did to get the land and expect to be able to thrive there? It's unrealistic. Even if you take a big portion of the land, you still got enemies everywhere else. It only worked because there was no cameras, people. It's the point. These plays only worked because the people weren't riled up with ferocious anger toward the individuals because they were able to do it without anybody seeing it. And they get to control the narrative of whether or not it went a certain way and get to mold the environment for which it would be okay for them to do it. You can't do that when people are watching each and every dead body drop. It's a different world for you when you try to run that play in today's society. And that's the point. That's the point. That's been my point the whole time. You done traumatize all of us with this dead baby shit. You traumatize all of us with this pro-rapist nonsense. It doesn't hit like you think it does. And even though there's a great deal of people who are not paying attention or not passionate about seeing you stop doing this because they're too busy warped up in today's propaganda, eventually the word of people waking up and supporting that for which is being courageous against that behavior spreads. It's just a matter of time. You didn't stop people from seeing it, and you're not going to stop them from dedicating their life to seeing you fall for doing it. It's just not the 1600s. And so that's what I want to say, man. That's what comes to mind on 9/11. Back in 9/11, it wasn't phones in everybody's face. It wasn't footage of every angle of everything that happened leading up to that circumstance. Technology will be your greatest downfall. Technology is everybody's downfall in regards to doing things they have no business doing. You can't cover the earth, any portion of the earth, without being seen at this point. You can't commit any type of murder without them being able to see you. You can't steal anything without them being able to see you. You can't engage in any online behavior without some type of imprint already left in the cloud of you doing it. There's nothing you can get away with. They don't have to have conspiracy theories. Everything leaves breadcrumbs at this point. Everything you do leaves breadcrumbs at this point. So that you think you can run this same America the Great play again in the Middle East and people are not going to see it and have some problem with it is naive. It's absolutely naive. And I don't care how many people you have pretending, there's still plenty of us who are not sitting here watching you pretend and with our phone in our hands looking at the proof of what it is that you've done. 9/11 is the same play. 10/7, 9/11, same thing. BDL 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.